Okay, hi, my name is Craig, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey.
So, when you start thinking about what this year means, the first thing that leapt to mind is it's not that long a time, it's not that big a deal, except it's a fucking miracle. I was lost, I was mean, I was a liar, I was a thief, I was a shitty brother, I didn't have many friends. I had drinking buddies, but I didn't have any friends. My story is I went to New Jersey, not back, but went to New Jersey. My son was graduating from college. And had the whole family around. My wife and I got on a plane and took a red eye out of LAX. And my wife doesn't drink much. I mean, a glass of wine. So we're on the flight, and we get up in the air. She's like, "Let's have a drink." We did it. We got our youngest out of college. I'm like, hell yeah. So she ordered a glass of champagne, and I ordered a bourbon. They brought a double, and then they kept bringing them. And that was the start of my weekend, culminating with the night before my son got his diploma, me flaming out in front of the entire family, sitting out by the pool drinking bourbon on an empty stomach. I saw him that night, and I said I slurred something at him, and I passed out. And woke up in the middle of the night with a screaming headache, vomiting black shit into the sink in this hotel room, realizing I was alone. My wife wasn't there, and realizing that I'd fucked up. Certainly not for the last time, but I was determined that was the last hangover I was going to have. So I went to my first meeting that day, and they simply said, keep coming back. Don't drink, and keep coming back. So when I got back to LA a few days later, I went to my first meeting and ran into my running group, John and Louie and Rob and Big Mike, who pled me into this meeting as well and became my friends. I came to this meeting, and Louie called me out from the microphone and said, "Don't leave here without a sponsor." And Hector came up to me after the meeting and said, "If I were you, I would pick this guy or this guy to be your sponsor." And he was the tall fucker, so I took him.
I'm sorry.
Didn't know shit about him. I was just willing, and I had that gift of desperation. It has been a learning experience, of course. This year, you know, a couple of moments, and one of the things I like to talk about is between my fourth and fifth step. You know, I did my fourth step. That was pretty straightforward. I sat down and knocked it out, and then I sat there for a while. And it wasn't about not wanting to confess my fuck-ups and my defects of character. That wasn't it. I just didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to look at that first step. And I sat on that for, I don't know, 6 weeks, something like that, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And I got a message one morning in my daily ritual, and it just said, "I didn't come this far just to come this far." And that was the kick in the ass that I needed to get my fifth step done and to keep blazing through the program. I was thinking about an analogy for my program here. And I bought a house about 2 years ago. Looked really nice on the outside. It's same age as my dad. It's 90 years old. And they had painted over all of the problems. I knew it needed a roof, but I didn't know it needed new plumbing. And boy, does it. Like me, it needs new plumbing. It needed a new roof over it, like I do. It needed new electrical, like I do. I needed to be rewired. And it was all held together with paint, with a fresh coat of paint. And that was me. That really was me. On the outside, everything was fine. Everybody said to me, I didn't know you had a problem. My brother in the program for 18 years said, I didn't know you had a problem. Lots of my friends that I've confessed this to have said they didn't know I had a problem. But I did. I know that early on I also developed a bit of an analogy that's flawed, but I like it. It's like we're jumping out of it. We alcoholics jump out of an airplane. And some of us don't ever pull the cord and we splat. Some of us pull the cord a little later, a little earlier, and break some of our fall, but we hit fucking hard. Some of us pull the cord a little bit earlier and get a reasonably good landing, but and I was lucky. I didn't lose much other than my self-esteem. I didn't lose the house. I did kind of lose the job, but that's another story. I didn't lose the house. I didn't lose the wife. I have a great relationship with my kids. But I really do now. I mean, we don't have secrets now in my house. My kids are gone, but my relationship with my wife is better than it's been in 27 and a half years of marriage. It's honest, it's real, it's not without marital bliss of being told what is the most important thing to do at the moment, and being helped with our projects to repair the house. But actually, the house is, yeah, she's a damn fine carpenter, evidently. But it's been a really good experience, this house, because it's something we're doing together. We're rebuilding this, we're investing in this house. The house is 90 years old. We had to put a roof on it because it was leaking with all the rain we had. And it leaked through and into the plaster walls. It's hard to find a plaster these days. Everybody wants to do it with drywall. And I want to do it in plaster because that fucking house was built 90 years ago with plaster walls. And I want to put it back the way it was. And I want to put my life back the way it should be. And I don't want to settle for drywall. I want to put what was in there and what the builders actually designed and built in the first place. And yeah, it costs more money, and yeah, it's harder to find someone to do it, but I'll do it myself if I can't find a plasterer, because it's how it ought to be done. And that's what this program is. You know, I was saying the other day, the steps are in exactly the right fucking order for me. Exactly the right order. I've heard some people say, do them in any order, or do whatever. For me, they only work in one order for me. And I go through them every day. You know, my morning ritual starts with step 1, 2, and 3, and at other points during the day I do the rest and say those steps in my head. And the one I do more frequently than any other is the third step prayer, because that's what fucked me up in the first place, was my thinking I'm in control, that it had to be my way, that I knew better, and if I just worked harder, or just made more noise, or just whatever, then everything would be all right if you just did it my way. My way, that my way put me in here. This is the only way. And it's not coming to meetings. I love this meeting, and I love going to meetings. Meetings are where we have our friends and our trudging buddies and the phone numbers, and the people we call when things get fucked up, or when we're weak, or when we know we're on the edge. And you know that feeling when you're on the edge. But the work is in the book, and the miracle is in the book. When I read this book for the first time, and I read Bill's story, there were two words that really leapt out at me, page 18 and page 19. And the first word was oblivion. In fact, if a person has cancer, all are sorry for him and no one is angry or hurt. But not so with the alcoholic illness, for with it there goes annihilation of all things worthwhile in life. It engulfs all whose lives touch the sufferers. It brings misunderstanding, fierce resentment, financial insecurity, disgusted friends and employers, warped lives of blameless children, sad wives and parents. Annihilation. Yeah, that's where I was. The next page, literally on the next page, it says, those of us who live in large cities are overcome by the reflection that close by hundreds are dropping into oblivion every day. This is real shit. We have fun. We take the piss out of each other. We laugh and we support one another. But this is real life. It is for me. And I know it is for you guys. That's why you're here. I'm here because I'm an alcoholic and my life had become unmanageable. And this book gives me the tools to deal with that shit that happens. My daughter's friend got married. We went down to the reception early in my recovery, and it was the smell of bourbon that got me. It's not hanging out with my friends. If I had a cup of 7-Up in my hand, I was good, but it was the smell of that bourbon that got me. And I freaked out and went outside and walked around the block and called my sponsor. And that's the program. That's the fellowship. But the answers are in the book. And I don't know anything. I only know 1 year. I only know what worked for me. And what worked for me is having a damn good sponsor. It was having damn good friends and working the program like your life depends on it. Because it does for me. Thanks for letting me share.
That's great.